What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to Foxhound Finance, where we analyze the stock market using technical analysis. Please understand that I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing in my videos is financial advice. Please do your own research and buy what you want to buy. Okay, guys, I'm back again with a Memorial Day weekend update for you all. I know most people should have Memorial Day off, so give you a little video, something to watch between now and the market opening back up on Tuesday. We are covering AMC today to see where things lie after about 2 weeks since my last update. All right. And for anybody new, real quick, I'm going to break down my structure here for you. So bear with me. If you guys want to go back and see more detailed analysis, please go back a few videos back. You'll see where I break these down more in depth. All right. If you're confused. But to explain it shortly, these red lines here are where price action needs to break. These are our resistance lines, and you'll have a flat top resistance at the $13 level, and then these descending resistances from these peak points, okay? So really what we needed to see happen was, in the immediate sense, AMC's price action needed to break this 1188 resistance line and then the 556 resistance line, which we did accomplish, all right? So price was descending since this channel that I've drawn up here since May of 2025. So going into last year, about a year channel finally broke out of this year down trend channel. And now we have broken the 1188 and we have broken the 556. And I said in the last video that when you do get price action to push up, typically there will be a test to come back down on top of it. So you would typically see price action work its way down to the top of the resistance. And if it holds and you get good volume off of it, it's a confirmation for continuation to the upside. So we did not really get that. We did not really get what I wanted to see, but this price action has been descending so sharply that I don't know if we will have to do that, being down at this bottom that we've hit. You could see a couple candles resting on top of it. So could that serve as a test? Sure. But really, you see the test after the finishing move, right? And this is a 100% move. That's typically what you see. But again, there's not really a lot typical with AMC to begin with. So let's just see where we are now. So in this structure, I have painted out this trajectory based on the volume profile and previous resistances and supports, all right, to try to get a vibe of where this is going, how long it could take. So people are a little mad because I drew about a year progression version out of this move. I'm not totally favoring it. I'm just saying if this is going to be slow progression to the upside, I have that covered, I think, roughly. I'm not saying this is like a perfect fit, and you're going to see that as I break this down further, but it's something that we can be a little bit more patient with if we have a longer approach, midterm approach, and short-term kind of squeeze approach, all right? So I broke that down in the last video. But right now, as we have, like I said, broken out of this thing, we had the drawdown. We were pretty much following this trajectory that I drew out to a T until price broke the support that I drew out here at the 93-cent level. All right. So price did break below the support, but then we had the news where Adam Aaron came in, bought 250,000 shares of AMC. So there's a lot of speculation that he's signaling that this is the bottom, whatever. I really don't care about that because I'm looking at the structure and the technical side more. I do think the fundamentals matter, and I know this news is being splattered to, push the narrative of whatever the direction of the price action is, right? So right now, we are back above support. I think that's the biggest takeaway. We are back above my support. I have not changed anything here with my trajectory. So that is a good sign. I really thought that after seeing these wick candles here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and actually 5, that we were going to fall back down and do that retest version. So could still see that, but right now I really like that this is above the support. It's pushing up, and again, there's positive news. The Star Wars movie just came out over the weekend, and it's like already over $100 million. So I think any movie that's getting us more box office revenue like that, to that degree, is going to be helpful for the fundamental side. And I do think we're about a 1.5 billion in total box office revenue right now for Q2, and we still have all of June left. And then you got Toy Story 5 and a couple big movies, so we're on pace for 2.5 billion. All right, I think something like that, 2.4 to 2.6. I think it's pretty doable. So we will see what that looks like, but that's your little snippet for the fundamental side. We're gonna jump in now and look at the pivot points. And again, more so bullish side leaning here because we are above the blue pivot point line. In the past, I've told people here before that if you are above this, your candles are printing above the pivot point line in blue, then you're pretty much going to head up towards the R1, R2, R3 targets. That's how we gauge that. But you want to see a couple good candles above that. We'll see what happens if we have a candle that breaks below. That would change the story. But right now, you're pretty tight holding this line. So if we get another candle to push above with another daily close that's higher than the previous, we're probably going to be trending up towards R1, which would be 197. And if you keep getting a push through, you would go to R2 at 243, and then R3 would be pretty much the top end of the resistances at 292. So when you do hit these resistances, you could be seeing some kind of pullback if it's like a weaker move and volume starts to drift off. So any one of these could be your pullback zone, but that's just giving you an idea of what the kind of micro side targets are on the daily, all right, for the month of May. And we only have a week left. So let's just see what happens at the end of May for the upside targets. Now for the downside targets, like I said before, if we were going down and we're going to break under the pivot line, you would go down to S1 probably at $1.02, $1.01. And if we did do that, that would kind of fulfill the confirmation of testing the previous breakout, because look at where your red line is sitting and where S1 is sitting. I won't be surprised if you got to flush down to that level for some reason, but it's really hard to say that because Adam Aaron comes out, buys shares. You have the box office pushing. I think it would be more so on the side of the global economy and the world events, if anything, pushing that move down. Because, again, the stock is looking really good fundamentally. So I just don't see what else it could be unless it's more dilution or something. But, that'd be sending mixed signals to me if he went and bought shares and then go ahead and then just dilute again right away. That's just me. Anyways, before I go on a deeper rant, S1's right there at $1.01, $1.02. And obviously, if you break this resistance and it doesn't confirm here, then that would suck. We would come down to like probably 53 cents. And, that'd be like the Nick Pantano zone, again, as I said before, which, whatever. If we get there, we get there. I just don't see it happening with everything going on. And the IWM basket, overall, the ETF is pushing higher and higher. So the fact that that's trending in that direction too tells me this is more bullish than bearish. But you got to, again, take into account the world events that are going on. All right, so we don't get sidetracked here. Too bad. Anyways, let's go to the EMAs. Bullish again on the EMA front from the daily perspective. You have the 9-day crossing over the 27 and the 48 just barely. They are pretty clustered tight together, but anytime you get a crossover like that, you're going to have the progression of price action to the upside. And I really want to continue seeing that. If we're not getting that, flush down to retest, I'm fine with that too. We would have the crossover of the 27 actually already crossed back here on the 48 and it's holding above, which is great. 9 is crossing over both. You would probably want to see the 27 get over the 100 would probably be the next one to cross over, which again, that's going to trigger those chain reactions of bullish price action when you get those moving averages crossing over each other, and not just a crossing over, but candles right here stacking on top of your EMAs. Now back here, I was again feeling more bearish because look at this. You had all these candles not only printing under the support that I had drawn up, but the EMAs themselves. Told you before, we don't want to see that. But now, being above the blue median line on the pivot points and seeing candle stack above the EMAs, really looking good. So let's just hope that we can continue holding that. You have the 100 EMA right here too, slicing the candles in half. So if we can get some candles to print above that, guys, I think we're in pretty good position to see that curling up and continuation. So that is what I'm looking at on the EMA front. So EMAs, pivot points, looking pretty solid. Let's look at the MACD on a couple different time frames so that we can see kind of the bigger picture, smaller picture and bigger picture here. So daily wise, the bearish volume is depleting. Of course, right here, you can see that it's down to a sliver. And then you could see the MACD line here in orange about to cross the signal line to the upside. So anytime you see this bearish volume depleting like this in this kind of fashion, and then you see this gold line about to cross the MACD, you're probably going to flip bullish. Again, it would take something really out of left field to not see this move go through. But Guys, MACD is about to flip bullish here, which again is another indication that we're going to see some upside movement happening. So that looks good on the daily. Love to see that. On the weekly, already crossed over back in the beginning of April and still holding above, and the bullish volume has been holding steady. So again, bullish, no other way to explain it. And that takes us to the quarterly. Want to check this one out. Still haven't crossed over yet, but I think what I really want to drive home here for you guys is if you're going to compare the build up to the 2021 cycle, right, where that squeeze happened in January and June, when you look at the MACD on the bearish side here from before, it was pretty steady all the way through. Yes, you had the drop off here in the bearish volume on the MACD, but to be honest, it was pretty steady. There was really no progression like this where we saw the bearish volume slowly just getting cut down to a sliver. All right. So again, I reiterate this, that I think this setup here is much stronger than even what the 2021 cycle was. And it only makes sense because look at the progression of the company and how it's been improving. So this right here kind of tells you a lie that the company actually is not doing well and you still got a squeeze out of it. Now this MACD is reading a completely different picture. It is basically telling you, yeah, this company is improving, right? There's no need for bearish sentiment, essentially. That's how I'm looking at this, that this is dying down. So you're about to have a quarterly crossover potentially. If we can get a decent amount of price action, you're going to need some decent price action to push this over that signal line on the MACD here. That would trigger a huge cascade of bullish volume to come in. And I think this is just in time for the summer because you have the Fed chair now taking over. I know the interest rate cut decisions are all up in the air right now, but still, IWM is pushing high, like I said before, and it looks really freaking good. It's all starting to come to a head and repeating the cycle, not completely to a T, but pretty damn close. So let's just see what happens. We don't want to fall in love with the past, but if we're going to compare, we got bearish volume kind of holding steady here and then got a bullish squeeze out of it. And then now the company's doing really good and it's like depleting really heavily here. Completely different setup. All right. That looks really good. Let's go over to now my volume profile before I make the video too damn long. So MACD, great. Across the board. Pivot points, great. EMA is great. And again, really quickly looking at my volume profile setup over here, I told people here on the channel prior that this right here is telling you the most heavy resistance volume wise where price will probably attract to, but also have a hard time breaking. All right. So already you could see that we're progressing up towards it, not in a straight line fashion, but nice and steady. We're having the pullback right now, and it looks like we're about to have another progression to the upside. So I've said in the past that if you get up here at this dotted line, if we can hold above this, there's going to be a nice, easy pocket up here. People are probably tired of me drawing this damn thing out over and over again. But if you can break above this node here in the $2.77 range, then you will go right pretty much through this volume here because it's much less resistance. It's almost half the resistance that this bar is. So we want to break and confirm above this bar, and you would get a nice progression at least all the way up to $4.62. And then again, we have to see how price responds here at these two nodes, because after you get through the smaller pocket region, resistance kind of builds back up in here again. All right. But the same thing applies. If you break above here, there's pretty much nothing in your way down here, guys. There's nothing down here to stop you from just going straight back up, really, to this $11 range. Okay, so want to break out of this. I mean, if you do it right here in like that faster pace squeeze fashion, then you're getting right up there to 575. And that would put you right here in the weaker volume area. But then after that, there's not much here. It's pretty much a straight blank open shot. So I would just be curious to see what price action does when we get past these levels. But right now we have to focus on the present, which is getting past the 276. All right. So volume profile looking very good. Indicators all looking very good. I think that's pretty much all I have for you guys today. And I want to keep the video at 15 minutes because that's easier for people to digest, I think. So everybody have a great Memorial Day weekend. If you guys are new, make sure to subscribe to the channel because again, we are continuing to map this thing out and things are looking better and better each update.